school district and our new superintendent. I was able to escort them out at Erdick when we were out there, get them out to see all the facilities that are out at Erdick, all the different engineers that are out there. And you can see his eyes light up and his mind was turned with all the different things that you can work into education. And I think that's what he's going to talk to us about today is all these opportunities. But he's definitely one of those, he's kind of has an engineering feel to him. He likes statistics, data, wants to see the numbers so you can make decisions. It's not just a touchy-feely, do I do this or not? And we've got the river rising behind us right now, and it's getting ready to recede. And it's going down already, and nobody's worried about it. It's just another event that happens because it's all designed and it's operating the way it's supposed to. So with that, turn it over to our superintendent.
It changes absolutely everything about the way we live, the way we get around, the way we eat, even the way we talk to each other.
Well, good morning, a whole bunch of engineers from all over the place. Today is a great day to learn something new. I started school every day as a principal just like that. And there's nothing that excites me more than being able to talk about what's happening in my school district. I will say y'all scraped the bottom of the barrel if this is the best we could find. I figured the snow day ran off the good speaker, and now they scratched and fetched and found some guy. I will say this. In my presentation, you will see the passion I have for what I'm about to talk about. And when you look at what we're preparing for a workforce that has never been before. We're looking at jobs, careers. When you every 2 years turning over a career, and they could be potentially different careers. The ability for us to train an individual for a single task and then them retire within that single task, those days are gone. So as you start looking at an educational system and how we provide a student that's viable in this community that they will inherit, we have to create students that are flexible. They can multitask and run different projects and know how to learn and work in groups and talk and work and read data and disaggregate between two separate pieces of data, put them together for an outcome. So a lot of the processes within education don't look the same as they did. The factory model of education is gone. You know, what we're doing today, where you got a guy who stands up in front of you and you listen intently and at the end of it you take an assessment. That's not what we're looking for in education any longer, because it's not preparing our children for what's to come. That type of world no longer exists. I'm going to preach to the choir today because I know I don't have to validate the importance of what you do. But I'm going to show you that in this district, in Vicksburg Warren School District, this superintendent understands that. I am in a unique situation, and I understand that. We have the Army Corps of Engineers and a whole bunch of Army folks and a whole bunch of engineers, probably more per capita than anywhere else in the U.S. We also have opportunities that are different than anywhere else in the United States, and I plan on sharing some of that. When you talk about the economy, and I'm going to talk a lot about numbers, so I hope you like that. I feel like I'm in kindred spirit here. 60% of new jobs that will open in the 21st century will require skills possessed by only 20% of the current workforce. This projected that the U.S. would be short as many as 3 million workers for our current needs in our workforce. According to the Commerce Department, people in STEM fields can expect to earn 26% more money on average and be less likely to experience job loss than non-STEM related workers. That's good news. 60% of all blue-collar jobs in the next 4 years will be STEM-related professions. That's incredible. If you look at STEM jobs over the next 10 years, will outpace non-STEM jobs 17% versus a 9% growth. In the past 10 years, STEM jobs are growing at the rate 3 times the rate of non-STEM jobs. And computer system design, which is a STEM-related field and related services, are projected to grow 45% by 2018. That's the year my son graduates, and he's in this school district. So if you don't think it's important to me as a superintendent, I'll let you know it's important to me as a daddy. I got 3 boys here. So when we got here, and I say we because this is my beautiful wife, best part of me, brought her to make sure I behave for y'all. We came with my children and we came to this school district. One of the things that I was able to do, Colonel Eckstein was the first person to walk me through, and Dr. Jeff Holland, if you don't know him, he's an incredible man, but he has a passion not only for STEM, but he has a passion for this community. And we saw a place that had been there for 40 years, and we had a very weak written partnership. And so what we did is I looked him dead in his eye and I said, this has got to change. We got to do something different. And he said, well, you know what? And I'm not bashing, I'm just quoting. He said, the last superintendent walked in here and told me the same thing, and that was the last time I saw her. And I looked him dead in his eye and I said, well, unless something happens between here and D.C. on that plane, you're not seeing the less of me. And that is the truth. And we worked very hard and diligently to put together some plans. You're going to get to see a sneak peek of some of that today. Some things we can work on very quickly and implement immediately. Other things are going to take time. And I'm not good with time because I want it now. I'm part of that Generation X millennialist in between those two, and I want things done a lot quicker than sometimes it has to happen. But I am going to share with our progress. We're going to look at our timeline and some things that we have in place. Innovation matters. There was a time where we just wanted a mousetrap, and we told you how to build that mousetrap, what to do, and the outcome. And we understand that in this world, there are other ways to get solutions. It's not equipping students with math and science skills that makes us special as a nation. It's our ability to innovate with math and science skills that makes us special. Creativity is the only market that we have left. We have, if you need a child to go see that will ask you why, you can come to my house. I've got 3 of them. They are a why nation. They want to know. They take multiple things, place them there to come up with creative solutions. When I went to New Orleans, and I met with a gentleman over here a little earlier that's from that area, and I got to see the lock and dam system, and I snatched one of the engineers over and I started talking to him. I was like, tell me about your school system. Tell me how you're working with your school system, because we got some things we want to do here. And as we got in the conversation, those are the very words he had. He said, we can find folks that have fine math and science skills. We can find folks that can compute. We can find folks, he said, our struggle is finding solutions. So when you start looking at what we have to provide both. Can't do one without the other. This actually is a light bulb. And I thought it was funny. I could have picked a bunch to show you, but they took the end of the light bulb and cut it off. Took a paper clip, stuck it over the end of the light bulb, put a nut in there and a piece of cheese. The mouse walks across to enter the light bulb to get the cheese, and the weight drops down, allowing the nut to fall off, and then the light bulb rotates, and you have your live mouse to go do something with. And a personal anecdote, if you'd like to hear a great story, I've got one when we first got married about a mouse, but I will save you it now. Google Glass and Google Lens. If you hadn't seen this, it's pretty exceptional. When you talk about things that didn't exist, this didn't exist just a few years ago. Google Glass is something, and I want one. I'm a gadgety kind of guy. I want everything that comes out. I promise you. Right? It drives me crazy. But I put you can put this Google Glass on, and you can access the internet. You can see it. You can take snapshots. You can talk to it. It becomes a memory aid for you. As you go through and you get older, I know it's happening to me, there's things I wished I could remember. This begins to take a piece of technology that integrates with the need of a person. And then you have a better person as it relates to the technology. If you look to the right, this was also put out by Google. They have been authorized to use this, and it's called Google Lens. It is a contact lens that tests your blood sugar. So if you're a diabetic and you have this opportunity, it can communicate with your insulin pump. And when it's time to take it, you don't have to test. You don't have to prick your finger anymore. And if you're a diabetic, my mom and daddy both are, and I can rest assured they don't enjoy that part of the process. This is an innovation that is the way of the future. It won't be long, I can guarantee you, until these two things interact, because somebody's going to take it to the next level and go, hey, I know what would be cool. What if all my memory could be on this screen that I saw and nobody else saw? How incredible would that be? These are some other examples of where we're going as a nation. There are things that exist that only science fiction, I watched Star Wars growing up and Star Trek, and I used to think, boy, it'd be cool if we could teleport. They got some science that's out there, and that is what the money's going to. There's communication through downloading memories to software. They've got hard drives that are there. They've actually communicated telekinetically through 2 different computers. In New Zealand, they have research that's approved for the first head transplant. You talking about insane? That's insane, Robotic eyes. People that have never seen, they have a cybergenetic eye that you can now stick in your socket and see for the first time. If you've ever watched those cochlear ear transplants for the children and the adults that hear for the first time, imagine what technology is going to be in the future. All these things we're talking about are not craziness. The top left, that's macrobiology. When you start talking about these tiny robots that you could place in the bloodstream, going in and engineering material at the molecular level. Billions of dollars have been introduced into that. That's all done through science and engineers. Just like some of the folks that live in this town, they had no idea that Erdek was here. They still call it waterways. Those of you who are from here understand what I'm saying. When you talk about, oh yeah, that's the waterways where they study the river. That's true. There's a lot of other things they do too. And when you start bringing those things to attention and the awareness of where we're going, the imperativeness about this is because if you don't act, you'll be left behind. Innovation is important because you innovate or you die. And I'll build a case for that. STEM and creativity, which I talked about, innovation is not simply a technical matter, but rather one of understanding how people and societies work, what they need and what they want. America will not dominate the 21st century by making cheaper computer chips. Can't do it. It's already done. But instead, by constantly re-imaging how computers and other new technologies interact with human beings. That is our market. That is our export. That's why we receive overseas students. They got a lot more engineers than we do. But they don't understand because their societies are different. So capitalizing on our opportunities, this is something that we must do. We need to understand. In times of radical change, the learners inherit the earth themselves, while the learned find themselves perfectly equipped for the world that no longer exists. That's where we are every day when we take our foot off the gas, when we look away and go, we're good enough. That's what we do. And things change around us if we're not intentional about that change. Even successful organizations with good people will disappear if they don't understand the natural laws of disruptive innovation. Because there's very little market for excellence that's obsolete. Obsolete excellence is all around you. I jokingly, we were talking through some of the things that just aren't here anymore. This is a vintage social network. Some of you may remember a day when this was true. You have your Instagram, you have your Facebook, your Skype, your Reddit, YouTube and Pinterest was all in existence, but it just looked a lot different than it does today. Those times were changed, and there's one company, and I'm not going to get into a Windows, Microsoft-based Mac product conversation because I'm sure we could get on one side of the room or the other. I use this illustration only to show how innovation changes everything. One of my favorite quotes, and he's got a bunch of them that I really like, but Steve Jobs said that Apple's in the habit of making things that didn't exist, that nobody knew they needed, but after they get it, they can't live without. That's disruptive innovation. When you've got something, a product that is so incredible that it revolutionizes everything. That's what happened. Out of a garage, by the way. Blockbuster, anybody remember one of those? I can remember going up with my parents and we would go pick out the VHS tapes that we were going to watch at family night. Y'all remember that? They're virtually non-existent. Every store closed. I blamed it on Redbox at the time, but I think it's deeper than that because Sony just closed their disc CD, just made an announcement that they're closing their DVD and CD production plant. Anybody want to guess why? I can get music and movies on my phone. I can get movies on my computer. Next, we got Kodak. Kodak is a prime example. I remember growing up, and you couldn't drive through a Kroger parking lot without seeing a Fox photo. Anybody remember Fox photo? You know, that was the place where you drove up and you dropped your pictures off, and then you gave them, you know, a day, and then that innovation started up, and you could get it in an hour, you know, and it was like awesome. And then, you know, you'd have to find a place to put them, and if you didn't like them, you gave them back, you know, all that. You know, Kodak decided, you know what? We are excellent at this. There's nobody better than us at creating film. Nobody. Kodak found a market they couldn't provide a product for any longer because the digital camera came about. That digital camera changed everything. But guess what? I can take photographs on my phone. I carry them with me. I got my Mac that I download things on. Oops, let the cat out of the bag. I got my Mac that I put things on. I've got thousands of pictures, thousands of videos that I can have access to. I can create PowerPoint slides. I can place them in a book, a virtual book, email it out to my friends. I can communicate through miles and miles and miles and send my pictures to my grandmother in Union, Mississippi. The minute my child hits a ball, I can send her a video, and it's like she's sitting right there. So Kodak no longer has a place in today's market. Bookstores, as bad as I hate to bring this one up, and I personally have not purchased a physical book in about 5 years. Every book that I purchase is either on my iPad or my phone. I've been given some books, but when I go in, I buy them. You know, and then I always like to, you know, our students, as they move through this whole process from physical to digital books, you know, one of my principal's sons, he's an avid reader, incredible reader, and he said, "Daddy, I just can't read on the iPad." He said, "Why?" He said, "Because I like to watch the book get smaller." You know, so there may be some hope for books, but what you see are bookstores that are closing. Paper products are closing the doors because of digital technology. I can find a book right now. I can read my Bible goes to church with me every morning. And my mama gets on to me because she wants to hear those pages flip. But I got it on my Bible, is on my phone right now. All the books that I read are on my phone right now. Music stores, bebop, all my friends, I can remember saving up money at my $3 an hour job, and there was a particular CD I wanted, and I couldn't wait till the end of the week when I got paid. Me and my buddies went through there, and we flipped through all of them. You know, that was a transition. Went from LPs to 8 tracks. I can remember sticking 8 tracks in this big old thing that was a piece of furniture that my mom and dad had in our house. That eventually, you know, moved to CDs, which is now on an MP3 player, which is now on my phone. I've got hundreds of songs that are at my fingertips on my phone. Video arcades. Now this was one, and I'll date myself. I'm 42 years old. Some of you are older than that. Some of you are younger than that. But I remember a time when there was nothing I enjoyed better than going into the mall and spending time at Diamond Gym, stuffing quarters and coins in this machine. Got computer games right now on my phone. Encyclopedia Britannica. My mama thought she had hit it. I actually had World Book, but she bought them, and I can remember I wasn't a complete student until we had that whole thing that covered up a shelf. I have more technology and more access to data and information on my phone than I could find anywhere. But there are some uses for those things. Here's one for your encyclopedias if you still have them. It's not too bad. Where is Vicksburg Warren School District with STEM? There are things that I want to share with you that we have done. There are some very substantial changes that we've made since I've been here. I've got a great team working on this, and fantastic administrators and teachers, and of course, best students in the state. As you start looking at the top one, our current partnership with ERDIC, we have that. We readdressed it. We went in and added internships there because we have compensation that's now can be tied to our juniors and seniors as they move out in that workforce. And we plan after our next step, and I don't want to spoil the surprise, but we are having an engineering academy in both of my high schools next year. And that engineering academy is going to be something special. And part of that is going to be an internship where we interact directly with access to ERDIC. No other school district in the state of Mississippi has this opportunity. No other. We're the only one. And I say that with pride because we hope that when you think about Vicksburg, you think, golly, that's where engineering starts. That's where leadership in engineering starts. STEM was born here as far as I know because it's incredible what they're doing over there. Not for Chad's sake, but for our children's sake. Chad's children's sake. My 3 boys. Next, we have STEM courses at both of our high schools that are currently there. We're revamping some of that. We've got STEM courses at our Scholastic Academies. That's what was introduced by our mayor, and he's a great guy, and he's very nice at what he said I put in place and the accolades that he gave me. But I'm telling you, it was form-driven function within this community because it was going to happen regardless of who the superintendent was. Because one of the two things you can understand, when something is form-driven function, that means that it's going to happen or they'll find a new superintendent. Does that make sense? This is something that our community demands. So as you started looking, we added 7th and 8th grade academy to our junior highs. And they're populated at a rate higher than they've ever been. And this upcoming year, our applications came in. We're going to have to add teachers to it in order to keep up with that need. And what it does, they all have iPads. They all use a thematic STEM concept. We interact with ERDIC. We have people that come over. We send our teachers to the training, which is provided through ERDIC in the summer, where they have those STEM design projects, and it's project-based learning. Also, we have robotics teams. We're exponentially adding those. We have them in elementary, junior high, and in our high schools. Also, we have dual enrollment. Very proud of this. Something that was virtually non-existent. We have children that will graduate. I'm tickled. I saw one of my parents posted this week that she was so excited her child's going to graduate with a minor in history as a high school student. That's huge. We've gone back in with our relationship with Hines Community College. Every single CTE course that we offer, and we're adding a STEM one, by the way. We're meeting this week to do that over at Hines Community College. That will apply to every child that wants those credits to go to college. What my vision is I hope that we have children that graduate with associate's degrees. I want to have a hireable product a year or 2 years quicker than anybody else can give them to you. I want children to have opportunities that want them. Gyms camps, and that's something that's been awesome. We've actually grown those. We had a couple places, and then we added 2 more this last year, where children go in and they are sitting down with real live folks like y'all. We've got engineers that sit down and go through these opportunities for these kids to be project-driven and thought process and deal with engineering. I wanted to put this here. I couldn't get the third parent on the phone. It's the only reason I didn't share the name, but the other ones I did. Currently, today, my first graduating class, the kids are in Mississippi State Engineering. We have 3 number 1s in their majors. Austin Tello in biochemistry. He's ranked number 1. We have Sherman Stewart in aerospace engineering. He's ranked number 1. I know who the third student is, but again, I couldn't get the parent on the phone, so I didn't feel comfortable putting the name, but they are number 1 in mechanical engineering. So there's some good things happening here in Vicksburg, no doubt about it. A lot of the hard work prior to me getting here that made that happen. Wayne Gretzky says, a good hockey player plays where the puck is. A great hockey player plays where the puck is going to be. I started with a video. That's where the puck is going to be. That's where the puck is going to be. My child is going to live in a world that didn't exist. As you talk about technology turning over every 2 years, can you imagine how an unflexible education system will be antiquated very quickly? That's the reason people want choice. That's the people that want private schools. That's the reason people want charter schools. Because we have a system that is so inflexible sometimes that we won't provide what is needed. Not here. Not here. Next, future of Vicksburg Warren School District. We're preparing our students for the past or the future. Future. I can hands down let you know that it's a vision of our school board and me to move us forward, and my team. Not by taking action means that we're accepting the default future. Tons of people live in this world where they just show up and things happen. And when they happen, they adjust in a reactive way. Well, we are, in Vicksburg Warren School District, we have the only 2 Leader in Me Lighthouse Schools by Franklin Covey designation in the entire state of Mississippi. And one of those things is be proactive. That's habit number 1. When you talk about making things happen before it's time, in the area of technology and STEM-related learning, that's what we're going to do in Vicksburg Warren School District. We're going to have focused intentional action that changes those future outcomes. Organizations resist change due to 3 things. 1, they're unaware. They don't know the change is coming. We know. I just showed you a video before I started where the world is coming to, whether I like it or not. Unwilling. I'm just not going to do it. I'm going to be Kodak. I'm going to continue to make my film the best because I'm the best at making film, and I'm comfortable there. And I like doing things the way I've always done them. And then we have, I just can't do this. I don't have the resources, I don't have the support, and I can't make it happen. Well, I will let you know that at Vicksburg Warren School District, we're well aware of what's coming. We're definitely willing to make a difference, and we are equipped to make that happen. So we're going to respond to those things. Our STEM plan, and I didn't share the whole thing with you because I only got 40 minutes, and I'm going to use all of it. I've already used 30. So as we start looking at what we're going to do, I'm going to share with you our immediate plan. We have a 5-year plan, and it's pretty incredible. If you got kids here like me, I'm very excited at the opportunities my children are going to have. Our STEM program will utilize approximately $2.25 million over the next 3.5 years to implement 2 STEM labs at Scholastic, 6 upgraded STEM classes at Vicksburg High School and Warren Central, 10 career labs at each high school. Besides the equipment, the budget includes teacher salaries, training, travel, and curriculum development. What it will entail is a different change, and I'm not talking about reform, I'm talking about a different way to do business. We're going to look at opportunities for children to begin to develop those careers in engineering, but other. There are 10 strands out there. In our first bite, we decided for a couple of reasons. One, we got Arctic in our backyard. That was a simple choice for us. The other one would really leverage, we put a committee together to decide the direction we're going to go. We have a teaching academy because Erdic's the #1 employer, I'm the #2 employer, and I already have a lab set up. So we talked about the teaching. We talked to Delta State University. We have a 2x2 program that already exists within Vicksburg Warren School District through our Hines Community College, where they can get 2 years through them and then 2 years at Delta State. So I went and met with Delta State, and I said, all right, how are we going to have my kids enrolled in your program? She said, well, as early as you want. So we're in the process of looking at a child earning a full year of college credit before they ever go, and it's more like a 1 + 2 + 1. And I can have a teacher in my classroom 3 years after graduation. The same thing can happen with each one of those strands, but which one we took. We bid on the health care. I don't know if you know this, but if you're watching the trends, economy follows the baby boomers because there's a lot of baby boomers, right? Well, as the baby boomers begin to age, their needs are going to fall in that healthcare need session. So we felt it appropriate for our second bite to be Health Academy. So this upcoming school year, we will have a full engineering and health academy in both of our high schools. This is our timeline, tentative short-term timeline. March 16th through June the 1st. This is the timeline. These steps are going to occur. We're going to order equipment for our 2 health science labs and 2 engineering labs. We're going to order equipment for our 6 STEM labs. Our 6 STEM labs are going to change. We are infusing that gemstones piece, that 10 career choices within our STEM opportunity. In addition to that, we're going to have robotics offered in every single school, in every single STEM. It's no longer going to be a choice after school kind of thing. I mean, it's going to be every child's going to have exposure to this. The other thing I felt important to share, and Dr. Holland believes this too, when we initially began talking, there was this concept of, hey, why don't we go make us a school and call it an engineering school, and let's pick all the smart kids that deal with math and science, and let's put them in there, and we'll make a bunch of engineers out of them, which I fully support if that's the direction that our district wants to go. However, when we began these conversations, I said, well, let me ask you this. If I took your current data, and I said, all right, these are the kids that are proficient in math and science, they're juniors and seniors, and on averages, their parents are probably engineers in this community. What's the probability that they will already be engineers regardless of what we do? Pretty daggone high. So what we decided to do was to start at that junior high level. And that junior high level begins to tell children who never thought they could, for the first time, they get to be exposed to these things. Because as much as I love everybody on the planet, I would love for it to be populated with Vicksburg folks. There's no point in me getting folks from Pennsylvania and Louisiana and Alabama and out overseas when we can create a workforce right here in Vicksburg. So that was our mindset on this. Moving forward, we're about to determine our faculty members and which ones will teach that, because that's tied to certification. Best thing about that is we got some really, really, really good friends at MDE that have been working very closely with us and have given us the go-ahead on some innovative high school initiatives. And we're going to be flexible with some things. So we're going to have some great opportunities, again, that I very many other people will have. Consultant, we have free consulting that's coming, which is also great. There are places all over the United States. And if you're from somewhere else, you're probably thinking, this guy's talking about something that already exists down my street. If you're from Nashville, they have an academy in Nashville. They were experiencing something very similar to Vicksburg. They had huge schools that were inner city. People with $1 million homes lived less than 2 or 3 miles from it, but didn't attend the schools. 2 reasons children drop out of high school. Number 2 reasons. There's bunches of reasons, but the top 2 reasons. One is literacy, period, across the board. Literacy skills are absolutely a huge rock that we're picking up. The second one is relevancy. When you talk about the kids don't see what they're learning in school to be pertinent to what they're choosing to do with their life. They're going somewhere. I mean, why in the world am I going to spend my wheels doing something that I have no intention of doing later? It's not valid. The attendance was down. So as Nashville, what they decided, they would wall-to-wall academies. And those wall-to-wall academies became those 10 strands. They have a high school for engineering. They have a high school for culinary arts. They have a high school for fine arts. They have a high school for fill in the blank. They don't deal with attendance problems. The kids want to be there. And there's partnerships that are created with the workforce that is there. So when they move forward, not only are they there, but they're getting to work in the environment that they want to work in for the rest of their lives. That's powerful. That's change. Nothing like that around here. So as we move forward, these are some of the other things. We're going to define our mission and goals, develop timelines for implementation. This is more so for me because I'm the guy that says, we need this tomorrow. I want this now. You know, so they're developing in this group timelines so I can know where to pace, I can know where to put the pressure, I can know what to expect, and we can communicate that not only to our community, but also our school board, who is very involved in this process also. Work with teacher teams for the advisory. That's a leadership quality. That's also the Stephen Covey deal that synergizing. If it's going to affect them, they need to be involved. So the teachers are also in this process. Take small teams to Mountain Home or Nashville. I sent a leadership team down there to view some of this stuff, but the folks that are involved with the implementation need to see it too. So we're going to send a small group with a nice sample to go see this. Expand our STEM curriculum into those keystone elements, which I already talked about. Set up college visits and career day for the 15, 16 STEM classes. Those are some of the ideas that we already have in place that we already moving forward with. Our educational plan. This is coupling advanced classes through our academies with our current CTE courses. This will allow us to offer something for every child. Because you well know if you go out there and you walk into Erdek, there's jobs from here to here. You go into a hospital, there's jobs from here to here. So when you're dealing with those opportunities, there's a wide range that all children can benefit from through this. There are technicians and welders that are absolutely needed. You cannot operate a bomb blast facility without people that know how to fabricate those things. So as you start working with what we're going to do, we're going to provide those opportunities where children can see where they can plug into those skill opportunities. And you can read on through here, basically what this says is we're working with other colleges, we're working with Hines Community College, so that we can make sure that we're getting children with the opportunity that they need to invest in an education past high school. So children in this community, in this school district, will be ready for college or career, or both. If I decide, you know what, I'm ready to go work, because we have some industry here that's amazing. We've got a barge industry where a child that's 18 years old that graduates high school with a clean record and a little bit of desire and a joy for the water can spend 6 months on the water and make what I'm making as a superintendent. That is available right here in Vicksburg, Mississippi. If we don't respond to those opportunities, we're missing a boat. We have talked to Hines Community College. One of the things I'll tell you that was, for my first visit, it was a brainchild there. I walked in and I saw the simulation room, and I went, oh my goodness, you mean to tell me if something happens in New York on the Hudson River, that y'all run it live here? Yeah, you do. You bring boat captains in, and they talk about, sitting down and going, yeah, well, when you go to the bridge, I know it's time to turn because there's an antenna that lines up with that third pylon. So they recreate that data to be visual to learn. So we went, you know what? This is something we need. So we talked to Hines Community College. We have a computer animation simulation design class now due to the visit that I had with Colonel Eckstein. Those are the opportunities that we're working very hard to create. Ole Miss, Mississippi State, those relationships, those are where our kids are going to go. We're not limited to just those. I know we talked to Alcorn also. And what we're trying to do is provide multiple opportunities for our children to be successful after they leave high school. Because quite frankly, it doesn't matter how well they test if they can't get a job. It doesn't matter how well their scores look if we're not preparing them for something that exists for them to go do. So In addition, our partnerships are incredibly important to us. We received an award, it's called the Governor's Award of Distinction, and we got that last year for our partnership between our Chamber of Commerce and our Leader in these schools. We have the most incredible community. If you don't live here, I'm sorry. You're going to have to go somewhere else that is not the red carpet city. And we have a community that loves children and is committed to having a quality education. So much so that they raised $330,000 to ensure that the Leader in Me program is growing within our ranks. That is something that is unique about Vicksburg that I'm sure exists in other places, but here I know it's here. So when you start talking about what partnership means, when I sit down with Cameron, that was one of our first choices we read through there. They had a product line that was coming on that was adding 280 jobs to Vicksburg. When I went in and talked to them, I said, where do the majority of your folks come from that work here? It's a big welding company. It used to be Laterno. And he said, well, you know, about 30% of what we hire comes out of Louisiana. I love Louisiana folks. Rode with several of them in college. But I can tell you this, if I could prepare people in Vicksburg, Mississippi to work in those jobs, why wouldn't we? So we sat down at a table with them at Hines Community College and sat there in front of them and said, this is what we want to do. I want children to walk out of my school and walk into your jobs. So what we have in place now is a program where children are committed to this particular program. They finish with the CTE certification in welding, and they get a job making $25 an hour out of high school. That's the kind of stuff that we want. We want the opportunities for real life experiences after high school. We don't want folks hanging around not knowing where they're going. We want to provide those opportunities and those visions and those things, and they can see themselves in your job. We had a group that presented from Erdick over here the other night, and their whole mission was to show children what they're capable of doing, what the opportunities are. And in this community, we have a lot of have and have-nots. We do. We kind of have a bell curve here. We've got these brilliant PhDs strolling around everywhere in the grocery store. We also have children that never know they'll leave their communities. They'll never leave their roads. They'll never see things. We are addressing that because I think every child is valuable, and I know they can learn regardless of what anybody says. The data shows that there's absolutely no correlation between race, sex, and achievement. None. His name's John Hattie. Look it up. I'm not lying. Now, poverty, on the other hand, poverty is an affliction. So as we begin to deal with this, we're providing an opportunity for children that may never know it's there. And that excites me as a superintendent because I know we're going to make a difference. And I know that it's going to impact not just Vicksburg, but it's going to impact everywhere it goes. With Erdick here is an economic driver, no doubt about it. If they shut up shop, not only Vicksburg folds, but there's some other resounding communities that will go away too. And that can't happen. So I know it's important as we move forward as a commitment of ours. That partnership exists. Merit Health, we talked with them. That's another great thing because now they're a community of 6 hospitals. Imagine the connection of a young man or a young lady who decides I want a career in health. And I come to this academy and I work my way through and I'm meeting people. Y'all know as well as I do it matters who you know. And when you're developing these relationships with professionals, how important does that become after you get your degree? Hey, you remember I was an intern over there when I was in high school. Do you have a spot for me? Absolutely, come on. And that'll get you in some interviews that other places won't get you in. So it's important to make sure that those local businesses are there and they're involved because they demand it here. STEM, y'all know what it means. I don't have to tell you. Science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. It is what's coming. We are going to adjust here. I encourage you. This commitment from this district came because of a lot of people that are interested in it. I will let you know that one person can make a difference. One of you sitting at this table, when you go back to your community, you make the effort to go, you know what? Even though the federal government says it's not my responsibility to worry about STEM education anymore, it's K-12's problem. It's not. It's all of our problems. Because our ability to perform as a nation depends on our ability to keep up with STEM education. I appreciate you giving the opportunity to talk, and thank you so much. They could have found somebody better. They wouldn't have found anybody more passionate.
We found one of the encyclopedias. Okay, great talk. Thank you very much, Superintendent. You can see a lot of passion there, and all that education we grew up with, our STEM background, it's going to change. So One of those opportunities we do that is we have a Society of American Military Engineers sponsors a camp here in Vicksburg every year, bring in 40 juniors or upcoming seniors going into high school, take them out, run them through different places in town for a week to get them excited about engineering opportunities, construction. But that's all run by volunteers, so we're always looking for volunteers. We've got lots of businesses, some of our partners here that make monetary donations. We're still looking for that for this coming summer. We also need people to volunteer their time to go out and lead these teams around. So if you got somebody, a young person, it can be an older person, and Mike Turner's out there always beating on kids to keep them in line. We need lots of people out there to do it. We cook the food for them, get them to different locations, and actually be their mentors. So you end up with, I think, 4 pilots or first mates that actually take them around, live with them for a week, share your experiences. So if you have anybody interested in that, see any of the SAME people or Henry or Mike Turner there, and we'll sign you up and get you to good use for a week this summer.